a world that constantly tells us to pursue, hunt, and conquer, there is a quiet rebellion happening in the minds of modern men. You've likely seen him, the man who doesn't play the chasing game. He doesn't send desperate double texts. He doesn't try to win over someone who seems indifferent, and he doesn't treat romance like a prize to be won at all costs. To the untrained eye, this might look like arrogance or emotional unavailability, but beneath the surface lies a deeply rooted psychological framework. These men don't chase women because they have shifted their primary allegiance from seeking external approval to protecting their internal self-respect. They operate on a fundamental truth of human psychology. Affection, attraction, and genuine connection cannot be forced, manufactured, or begged for. When you understand your own value, the urge to chase simply evaporates. This brings us to the core operating principle of this mindset, the law of reciprocity. A mature man views a relationship not as a pursuit, but as a partnership. He understands that healthy dynamics are built on mutual effort, where both individuals are actively investing in each other. When attraction is one-sided, it ceases to be a relationship. It becomes an obsession. When a man who values himself notices a distinct lack of reciprocity, delayed responses, canceled plans without rescheduling, or breadcrumbs of attention, he doesn't try harder. He doesn't double down to prove his worth. Instead, he calmly and gracefully steps back. This isn't done out of spite, anger, or as a manipulative mind game to get her attention. It is a logical, self-preservational response. He recognizes that his emotional energy is a finite currency. Investing it in someone who treats it as disposable is a poor investment. By walking away from lopsided dynamics, he keeps the door open for connections that are fluid, natural, and mutually desired. Why is it so easy for these men to walk away? It's because of what psychologists call the mission-first framework. For a high-value man, a relationship is a beautiful addition to an already fulfilling life, not the foundation of his existence. His life is anchored by his purpose, his career, his physical health, his intellectual growth, and his long-term ambitions. He has built a world that he loves, independent of anyone else's validation. When a man's identity is tied to his mission, he no longer looks at a woman as the missing piece that will finally make him complete. He doesn't need a relationship to feel successful or happy. Because of this, he doesn't have the time or the emotional bandwidth to engage in prolonged romantic chases. He chooses to allocate his focus where it yields genuine growth. If a romantic connection aligns with his life and elevates it, he welcomes it warmly. If it becomes a source of chaotic drama or unrequited chasing, he simply returns his focus to his mission. Mastering your mind is the key to mastering your life. If you value deep psychological insights like this, hit subscribe and join our room of thinkers. There's a stark contrast between a man driven by impulse and a man guided by emotional intelligence. The man who chases is often blinded by immediate chemical infatuation, driven entirely by physical attraction and the thrill of the hunt. However, the man who refrains from chasing operates with a high degree of cognitive control. He filters his emotions through logic. He understands that physical chemistry is incredibly easy to find, but compatibility of character is exceedingly rare. Before he invests his heart, he takes his time. He observes how a person treats others, how they handle stress, and whether their core values align with his own. He doesn't rush to claim someone just because they look good on the surface. By prioritizing observation over impulse, he protects himself from the turbulent cycles of toxic relationships. He chooses clarity over infatuation every single time. Finally, we must look at how these men view rejection. To most, rejection feels like a crushing blow to the ego, a painful confirmation that they aren't good enough. But a man grounded in Stoic philosophy views rejection with absolute neutrality. He knows that someone else's lack of interest is not a reflection of his inherent worth. It is simply a reflection of their preference. If a woman decides he is not the right fit for her, he doesn't argue. He doesn't try to convince her otherwise, and he certainly doesn't chase her down to change her mind. He accepts reality as it is. He wishes her well and moves forward with his dignity fully intact. Ultimately, the psychology of the man who doesn't chase is not about playing hard to get, nor is it about emotional coldness. It is about profound self-containment. It's the realization that the most valuable things in life, peace of mind, self-respect, and true love, never require you to run after them. They meet you where you stand. Thank you for thinking with us today. Keep building your world, stay grounded, and we will see you in the next video.